Hey everybody, it's me, Badger. Well, I want to talk for a few minutes about Radio SRO and about a few things, just a few things, okay? And this is kind of off the cuff. I've been thinking about it all morning. Thought about it a lot last night too. Been doing a lot of thinking. So here's what's up. First, I want to talk about the Bill and Ruth's thing, where I had invited everybody to join me at Bill and Ruth's for a sandwich. Just to get together for a sandwich for my birthday, you know? I mean, just a little casual, just a little thing, you know? Would have meant a lot to me. Did mean a lot to me. A couple of friends showed up. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Yeah, like one guy who has come to a lot of my events whenever I used to do events. He showed up. Many thanks to him. And then one gentleman that I hadn't seen for over a year that has been an extremely good friend to me over the years. Anyway, but last night I announced towards the end, I said, you know, every SRO-shalite that showed up at the event got $500 cash at the Bill and Ruth's thing, which actually was true, because 0 SRO-shalites showed up at Bill and Ruth's. Now, I understand you have lives. Some of you don't even live in this state, you know? Some of you have work. Some of you had family obligations. A lot of you had a lot of stuff to do. It's the holidays, for God's sake. 0 SRO-shalites after I've been doing Radio SRO for 2.5 years. Not one of you could make it. Okay, fine. It's not a problem. I understand. Again, people have lives. Okay? Alright. Then, I did the broadcast. I don't expect everybody to tune in for the broadcast. I don't expect everybody to stick around until the end of the broadcast. Usually the broadcasts on a good night will go until, 1:30 or so sometimes? I mean, that's pretty late. And we're getting vintage. I say vintage to avoid the O word. But, you know, I'm 51 now. I get it. I'm also 51 and doing a show that requires me to be on my feet for at least 6 hours if I go until 1 in the morning. Requires me to be away, well, I mean, technically kind of away from family, from friends. For my birthday, I could have done a lot of stuff, alright? I could have gone out, partied for a little while with Leah if I really wanted to. Kids wouldn't have minded. I could have stayed home with kids. Watched movies and stuff, you know. Popped some popcorn, had some family time. I didn't. For my birthday, I wanted to DJ for you all for a Radio SRO set, because I do one every weekend. And people showed up at first, and I appreciated it. People showed up, wished me happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. Then, probably around midway through the Groovy Train part, you know, which goes from 10 until 1-ish usually. I mean, like usually 10 until like 1:30 or so. People started just bailing, bailing hard, like not even saying goodbye, just people just dropping off. And towards the end, there were about maybe, and some people did say goodbye. Some people did give a reason, and you don't owe me a reason. You don't owe me anything. In fact, this video, for the most part, is about how much we owe each other. You don't owe me anything. I don't do it for the money. I used to think that I was, but that was a bad way of looking at it, you know? Tips are tips. Tips are extra. Tips are a gratuity. gratuity, like the word gratuitous. On top, extra, additional, bonus, like gratuitous nudity, gratuitous violence, gratuitous money. I like gratuitous money. Actually, I like gratuitous violence and gratuitous nudity too, but that's beside the point. Gratuitous money. So, you tipped me. I mean, a lot of you, well, not a lot, but 4 of you maybe tipped, I think. And I appreciate that. You tipped a lot better than you had the last couple of weeks. Last couple of weeks, the total amount of tips were, I think, $15 and $20, maybe $25 respectively, I think, for Radio SRO and the Groovy Train. Well, I guess last week we didn't really have one. So, last week we'd had the special double Groovy Train thing, which was fun. But, I'm not used to making a lot of tips these days because, well, I don't want to be disappointed. And that's fine. I don't do it for the money. I do it because people appreciate it. I do it because it's fun. Well, when it is fun. I'll explain that in a moment. And I do it when... I do it because of the memories, I love the musical memories. I love playing stuff that I remember. I love playing stuff that you all remember. One of the most exciting things is when I play a song and somebody says, "Oh, I haven't heard this in years," or "Oh, I forgot about this song." "Oh yeah, that's great. I appreciate it. That's one of the reasons I do this. I want you all to have fun. And I want to have fun. If I'm not having fun, then it's really not worth doing. It's not a job. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm getting the tips. Remember, gratuitous money. Extra money. On top of the salary of $0 for which I perform for 6 hours, at least, every weekend in the last few months, and off and on for the past 2.5 years. No salary. I have to pay to broadcast because of Mixcloud's policies. I have to pay every month to be able to broadcast. And, like I said, I'm getting vintage. My back is not what it used to be. You get sore. I get achy. I try not to complain a lot, But being on my feet for 6 hours, running back and forth, hitting light switches, hitting the fog, queuing up music, it's a job. And you might think, "Oh, Badger, you're rich. You don't need a job." Yeah, I do. I'm not rich. I got a lot of bills to pay. I've got a day job that I do well at. I've also got a lot of expenses. And I'm not a poor dude by any means, but I'm also not like Scrooge McDuck wealthy. I'm not like swimming in wealth. I live paycheck to paycheck just like a lot of you do. But it's not about the money. It's about whether or not it's fun anymore. And it's about entitlement. And that's what I'm getting to here. Towards the end of last night's broadcast, like I said, it boiled down to like 4 or 5 people. My old friend DJ TMJ, he got on. That was fun. We chatted for a little bit. And, but as far as the regular crew of SRO Lights, it boiled down to about 4 or 5 people for maybe the last hour or so. And the chat, with the exception of every once in a while somebody would say something, like Todd. Thank you, Todd, for tuning in. Todd tuned in, and he would chat every now and then. Of course, TMJ and I, like I said, we chatted. Every once in a while people would say things, but the chat, for the most part, was dead. And if it gets to be 4 or 5 people listening, including myself, because I still have the phone going over there, so I register as a listener. That's not the reason I do it. I do that so that I can keep an eye on the chat while I'm DJing, and make sure that the broadcast is still going out. That's kind of nice. But yeah, do I? So towards the end, I'm sorry, I get sidetracked. Towards the end, somebody in the chat It was right at the end. I mean, this is like, we're talking around 12:50. I decided I'm just going to go ahead and stop this. I'm just going to end it because it's not fun. When there's barely anybody there and they're barely chatting, it's not fun. And how much time do I really owe you? Well, think about it. We'll get to that. About 12:52, 12:53, after I've been on my feet for over 5.5 hours, entertaining you, trying to entertain you, somebody says, well, Badger, it's your birthday. If you wanted to close early, meaning if I wanted to shut down the broadcast early, we'd understand. You'd understand. After I've been on my feet for almost 6 hours, you'd understand. If we've got only 4 or 5 people listening, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm not getting paid for it. Aside from tips, bonus money. I'm paying for the broadcast. My back is hurting. I'm tired. Been up since about 6 to 6:30 in the morning. Already feeling a little bit sad about the whole Bill and Ruth thing. After I could have gone out with Leah. I could have hung out with my kids. I could have done a lot of stuff for my birthday evening. I chose to share my time with you. And you understand. At 12:52, 12:53, you understand if I want to play Lindy's Party. And in the broadcast. Well, thank you for your understanding. I'm sorry if I cut things short, but I appreciate your understanding because it was my birthday. I have done this weekly for months. I've done this off and on for 2.5 years. And you understand. If I want to cut it off at 1 a.m. after playing Lindy's Party, when essentially the event has died down. You all don't owe me anything. You know that, right? Again, I know I'm going back to it. Tips are gratuitous money. I don't do this for the money. I do it because I enjoy it. But I thought of something earlier today. It reminded me of Johnny Cochran, who I really didn't like, of course, because, well, I didn't like OJ, but that's a whole other point. Remember when Johnny Cochran said, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit? It was like a famous quote. I'm pretty sure you all remember that. When I'm not having fun, the broadcast is done. If I am performing and it's 11:30 and people are bailing, people leave the broadcast and it goes down to like 4 people and hardly anybody's saying anything, and it's like I don't even know if anybody's really listening anymore. If I ended at 11:30, you've still gotten what you paid for. If I end at 11:30, I'm ending on my own terms. I'm not ripping you off because I didn't go until 1. At 11:30, I will have given you 4.5 hours of my time and paid for the privilege of broadcasting to you. So, if you understand, if I end things at 1 a.m., I appreciate your understanding, but I could have done it whenever I wanted. And you're not entitled to Radio SRO. I provide Radio SRO. Just like I'm not entitled to tips. You provide me tips, and I appreciate it. And I know a lot of you appreciate Radio SRO. One more thing to say. If I stop doing Radio SRO completely, nobody else will pick it up. Nobody else will take the baton. Nobody else will run with it. I invite you to get on Mixcloud.com/live. Look at the live broadcasts. It's free. Just look at all the live broadcasts. Do a search for 80s if you can. See what else is out there like Radio SRO. Nothing. There's nothing out there that provides what you would get from Radio SRO. And that's fine, you know. It's a very unique thing. It's a niche broadcast, which is probably one of the many reasons why I don't have a lot of listeners, even though I've asked repeatedly for people to spread the word. I've asked repeatedly for people to try to help me grow it, to, you know, because I know there are people out there who would like to listen to it, but I'm not entitled to tips. I appreciate them greatly. I really, really do. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because last night, tips were pretty good. Tips were good. Not awesome. But a lot of, well, like I said, about 4 of you, maybe 4 or 5, offer tips. And I appreciate them. But not doing it for the money. Doing it when I'm having fun. And last night, for the last hour and a half or so, maybe longer, I really wasn't having fun. But you'll understand if I ended at 1 a.m., 1 in the morning. I've offered to have other people do Radio SRO. I've said whenever I left Radio SRO for a while back, I said, if anybody else wants to take up the reins here, do it. Do the broadcast. Not here, not at Fascination Street, but somebody else wants to provide the broadcast, go for it. There were no takers. I'm the only one that will do it. I love being the only one who will do it. But at the same point, don't feel like you're entitled to it. Just because I've been providing it for a while. Don't think that, oh, well, Badger owes us. And if he decides to end at 1 a.m., we'll understand. I got a lot of thinking to do. Thank you.